groups are there?
There are 2 groups.
How many objects are there in each group?
There are 3 objects in each group.
2 groups of 3.
Okay, good afternoon class. How are you getting on? Hopefully you're good. And welcome to our K2B math class. And let's have a short and a quick review before going to start the new lesson. So your review is on page 34 to page 36. So we're going to review about number 1 to number 10. And you already learned number 1, 2, 3, 4 and until number 10. And I also taught you how to count the objects or the things to know that it is 1 or it is 2 or it is 3 or it is 10. So now let's review about those together. So here is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And here are some objects that we're going to count together. Like here we say number 1, okay, 1, and we'll look at how many stars are there. So only one star, or we can say here 1 finger. Here is number 2. We look at how many stars. So we can see there are 2 stars. So we count together 1 and 2. So here is 2. Okay, so here is number 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here is number 4. Like we count the stars. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 stars. Okay, now go to number 5. Then we're going to count about apples. So here 5, 6, and 7. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here is number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here there are 6 apples. Okay, number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here there are 7 apples. Okay, now we go to number 8, 9, and 10. We're going to count the balls. Okay, number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 balls. Number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here, how many balls are there? Right, there are 9 balls. And the last one is number 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here there are 10 balls. So that's all for the review for the number 1 to number 10. Now we're going to learn about new lesson for today. That we learn about Unit 14, Creepy Crawlies. So before going to the next, we need to understand the title of your unit first. So what is creepy crawlies? So creepy crawlies in general we talk about the learning about the small animals, or we can say the insects. So the small animal that we're going to learn, like or we can say butterfly, bee, or ladybugs, and ants, or other small animals, or we can say the insects. Okay, and what we really learn today, we're going to learn about grouping in twos. Okay, grouping in twos. But before learning the grouping in twos, you should know the definition of the word grouping. So can you tell me the definition of the word grouping? What does it mean? Okay, now we learn it together. So the word grouping means the action of putting people or things in a group or groups. So it is the way that we putting the people objects or things in one group together or in many groups. This is the definition or the meaning of the word grouping. Okay, so it's similar to the grouping in twos. It means you need to group the objects or things or people in many groups. But make sure in one group there are only two people, or in one group there are only two things. So here is the example. So look, here, what are these? They are cats. Okay, they are cats. And here, I want you to group the cats into twos. So grouping in twos. But before grouping in twos, I want you to look at the two questions first. Question number one is, how many cats are there? So here you need to complete it. But can you tell me how many cats are there? No, I think you don't know because we haven't counted yet. And question number two is, how many groups are there? So after we grouping in twos, we're grouping the cat into twos. So how many groups of cats are there? So you're going to group it and you complete the answers here. So that group and count together. So here we're going to count the cat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or we're not sure. We're not sure 5 or 7 or 6. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let answer the question 1. How many cats are there? So here cats, how many cats? 5, 4 or 6? Alright, you're right. There are 6 cats. And then we start grouping the cats into twos. So count together. 1, 2. 1, 2. So mean that one group is two cats. So we're grouping it into twos. Okay, 1, 2. So one group. And then again, 1, 2. 1, 2. We're grouping in another one group. And the last one is 1, 2. 1, 2. So we already group it into twos. And let's go to the question number 2. How many groups are there? Again, how many groups are there? So how many groups are there? So let's count. 1 group, 2 group, 3 groups. So here there are 3 groups of cats. So we complete number 3. Okay, that's all for the grouping in twos. Now before going or before saying goodbye, we're going to do our task 1. Okay, so here is your task 1. Okay, now I'm going to draw some apples, but I really don't know how many apples are there. So here there are some apples here. So you're going to do it by yourself, but I give you 2 questions, the same the lesson that you already learned. So question number 1 is, how many apples are there? So here what is you going to complete here? You need to count the apples and then you complete the answer here. Question number 1 is, how many apples are there? So here complete the blank. And the second question is, How many groups are there? So over here is the question number 2 is how many groups are there? So what you're going to do about question number 2 is you look at the apples and then you need to group it into twos. It means that one group have 2 apples. You circle like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you continue do the rest. And then after you grouping into twos, you counting the groups and complete the answer here. So here is groups. Okay, so that's all for the past one. And don't forget to do your task and take it and drop it into your online group. So see you in the second video clip. Thank you.
How many groups are there?
There are 2 groups.
How many objects are there in each group?
There are 3 objects in each group.
2 groups of 3.
Hi, welcome back to our K2B math class. So have you done your task yet? If you don't, please do it and send into our group. I'm gonna be there and correct for you. Okay, now let's have a quick review together. So as you know, we already learned about creepy crawlies. That you already know that when we learn about the creepy crawlies, we learn about the insects. We learn about small animals like butterfly, like ladybirds, like bee, or like other small animals. And we also learn about grouping in twos, but you also know the definition of the word grouping. So the word grouping is referred to the action of putting people or putting things in a group or in groups. And the part 1 you learn about grouping in twos, it means that you need to look at the objects or look at the people, and then you need to put the people or things in group of 2. It means one group there are 2 people or one group there are 2 things. So this is the way that we grouping in twos. Okay, so that's all for the review. Now we're going to learn about the lesson today. That we're going to learn about grouping in threes and grouping in fours. The part 2 that we learn about grouping in threes and grouping in fours is not different from the grouping in twos. Only grouping in twos, we make a group. We need to group one group only 2 people or 2 things. But number 3 is the same. We're grouping in groups, but one group is 3, and also grouping in fours. It means you need to group in many groups, but one group is 4 things or 4 people. So it is the same the way that we're grouping in twos. Okay, now we're going to group part B that about grouping in threes. So grouping in threes means that grouping one group have 3 things or objects. So now we go to the example together. So what are these? Can you tell me what are these? Tiger? Lion? No, it is, they are ants. Okay, read together. Ants. Ants. Okay, here we look at ants. We really don't know like how many ants are there or how many groups are there. So then we need to do it together. So let me go to these 2 questions first. Like question number 1, how many ants are there? here you need to complete. And here, how many groups are there? Groups. So we don't know yet. So we're going to do it together. So we're going to count the ants first. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So how many ants are there? There are 9 ants. So you need to complete number 9 here. There are 9 ants. Now we're going to group in threes. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3 and we group it in one group. And 1, 2, 3 again and group it in another one group. So let's do it together. Okay, counting 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Count it and group it. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Group it. Why we group in 3? Because here we learn about grouping in threes. Okay, and last one is 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Wow. So we already group it. So we let's count it and answer the question number 2. How many groups are there? 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. So there are 3 groups of ants. So over here we complete number 3. Okay, so that's all for grouping in threes. Now we're going to go to learn about grouping in fours. It means that one group there are 4 people or 4 things. Now go to example together. So here there are many bees, but I don't know how many bees are there, and I don't know how many groups of the bees are there. But now we're going to do it together. So the first one we need to count the bees. So let's count it. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many bees are there? You already counted. So there are 8 bees. Okay, so here we complete number 8. Okay, 8 bees. And then we start grouping it, and we're grouping in 4. One group, there are 4. So now start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we grouping in one group. And if we count another 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're grouping it. So we go to the question number 2. How many groups are there? So how many groups are there after you group it? 1 and 2. So you can complete the answer here. There are 2 groups. Okay, so that's all for the grouping in threes and grouping in fours. So now we're going to do our task 2 and task 3. Okay, here is your task 2 and here is your task 3. So task 2, grouping in 3. So over here I can write the red one. Grouping in threes. So you look at the leaves. The leaves. And then you're going to answer these 2 questions. So question number 1, how many leaves are there? So here leaves. So you need to count the leaves and then you complete here. And question number 2 or the task 2 is how many groups are there? And then you start grouping it into 3 and then you count the groups and then you complete the answer over here. Okay, that's all for task 2. Now we go to task 3 together. Grouping in fours, it means that you need to group one group and have 4 stars. So here, also the same 2 questions. Question number 1 is how many stars are there and how many groups are there. So you need to count the stars first and then you complete the stars here. And then you start grouping in 4 and then you answer the question number 2 here. Okay, that's all for the lesson for the second video. So see you in the last episode. See ya.
groups are there?
There are 2 groups.
How many objects are there in each group?
There are 3 objects in each group.
2 groups of 3.
Hi, welcome back to our last video clip for the lesson for today. And what have you learned so far with teacher? Okay, now we go over it and then before going to our homework. And as you already know that we learned about K2B maths class, and we already learned about some parts of unit 14 that we learned about creepy crawlies, that we learned about small animals like butterfly, like grasshopper, like ladybug, or like bees and other small animals. And we also learned how to group, like grouping in twos, grouping in threes, and grouping in fours. And like we know the definition of the word grouping is the action of putting people or the action of putting things in a group or in groups. Like grouping in two, you need to look at the things and then you group it in many groups, but make sure one group is there are only 2 things or 2 animals or 2 people. And like grouping in threes, it means that you need to group in many groups too, but make sure that in one group there are only 3 things or 3 people. And the last one is grouping in fours. It means that you need to group in many groups, but make sure yourself that one group there are only 4 things or 4 animals. So that's all for the lesson for today, and hopefully you can catch up well and pretty well about the lesson. So before going, let's do your homework. So here is your homework that we have part 1, 2, and 3. And your number 1 is grouping in twos. So over here there are some snails. So some snails here, and I don't know that how many snails are there. So you need to count the snails and complete here how many snails are there and complete. And also here groups, it means that how many groups are there. So after you grouping in two, how many groups are there? So you complete the groups here. And your task 2, your homework number 2 is about grouping in threes. It means that you need to group the boys. One group there are 3 boys. But here there are 2 questions too. Like number 1, like how many boys are there? So you need to count the boys first. And the second one is how many groups are there? So after grouping the boys into threes, so how many groups are there? So the last one is number 3 is grouping in 4. So you need to group the girls in groups and make sure one group there are 4 girls. Okay, and you complete here like how many girls are there and how many groups of the girls are there. So that's all for the lesson for today. Don't forget to do your homework and your tasks and submit me in your group later. So by today is Friday, so enjoy your weekend.
How many groups are there?
There are 2 groups.
How many objects are there in each group?
There are 3 objects in each group.
2 groups of 3. How many groups are there?
There are 3 groups.
How many objects are there in each group?
There are 4 objects in each group.
3 groups of 4. groups are there?
There are 2 groups.
How many objects are there in each group?
There are 6 objects in each group.
2 groups of 6. How many groups are there?
There are 4 groups.
How many objects are there in each group?
There are 3 objects in each group.
4 groups of 3. How many groups are there? How many objects are there in each group?